We had a fantastic client dinner at the beautiful Royal Automobile Club in central London. And this is a short video of Ryan from Introhive, Kevin, my joint MD at Mutual Value, and myself, Stuart Maister, just summarizing some of the big takeaways that we got from what was a long discussion that, by the way, went on and on into the evening after the dinner is over. And there was a really lively chat with a lot of very senior professionals. I just want to summarize a couple of things that came to me, and then I'll ask Ryan and Kevin to add some of the things that they picked up. The first thing that we did was ask those present about the value of internal collaboration. The agenda for the session was something we called the myth of one firm, meaning everyone says they're one firm, everyone says they're highly internally collaborative, they bring the whole firm to the client, very few do. So there's a myth, and we asked the question, what's the cost of that? There was a whole bunch of things on the board. Let me pick out some of the big ones that people said. When there's this lack of internal collaboration, time is wasted. There's a lot of duplication of ideas. People reinvent the wheel all the time because they're not sharing effectively. They lose money in accounts because they're not selling the full value of the firm to those accounts. They're only selling part of what they could sell. The attention is dissipated of the firm, so there's no focus. Not everyone's getting behind a focused approach to the marketplace. The customer experience diminishes because of a lack of joined up servicing. And because culture eats strategy for breakfast, as we all know, this is a cultural issue. Now, I asked the question, if I put pound notes against each of those in your firm, these are all big firms in the room, would there be a business case for addressing this, for any one of those issues? And the answer was resoundingly yes, it would be a big number against any one of those. But what was interesting was that we went on to discuss this, and a number of people in the room said, actually, it doesn't need the financial business case. The issues are so clearly central to the effective performance of the firm that any board would want to address it. The question is, they would only sign off on things which show that would have a chance of doing something about it. So then we asked the question, what have people done that's been successful to address this silo mentality, this lack of collaboration? So let me come to you, Kevin, first of all, if I may. What were some of the ideas that came out from the session for you that you thought were interesting?
I think one of the main things that I heard that I found very interesting was from an executive director of a multinational infrastructure business, and he was sharing that they were dealing with incredible complexity, and the only way to do that effectively was collaboration. But more than that, they'd looked at the figures that we were talking about, and they'd realized that in an industry where 2% margin is to be celebrated, collaboration was in itself a way of significantly increasing performance and margin. So for them, it was a critical issue at board level. And it was interesting to see that they had regular board meetings which focused on the behaviors of collaboration that they were looking to engender and the values that they put behind that collaboration. And so rather than just look at the numbers, they were looking at the behaviors that would lead to success in their market and in their business. So I found that very interesting, that this is a leader-led effort.
Ryan, what about you? What were the things that you heard, the ideas that you heard that you thought were worth kind of picking out?
Well, as we said, it was embraced in principle that look, this is a great idea. Everybody accepted the fact that collaboration will benefit the organization. We heard from Kevin about culture and top-down approach. But we've been working for a while actually with a large global consulting firm who have embraced this. So what they've done is look to ways to measure internal collaboration and then reward that. So in previous incarnations, people were just siloed on working for their own activities and for their own outcomes. But if you were rewarded for actually collaborating, that gives an extra motivation and actually incorporate that into your KPIs. So I think once people want to acknowledge the fact that embracing this will benefit the firm as a whole, you need to be able to measure the behaviors of individuals and then reward the behaviors that align to those with that strategy.
I just want to pick up though on a point someone made that wasn't purely about measurement, because measurement's clearly important, and then incentivization, but about pick up on this cultural point, because I think we need to emphasize that. A very senior person from one of the largest software firms in the world was there, and she said that for her, it was cultural, that whatever the incentivization in their particular case, the expectation was that people would work as a team across, for example, sales teams or salespeople, even if they're individually incentivized, and that she wouldn't tolerate anything else. And I think that the power of the cultural imperative, this is how we do things around here, I thought came across very powerfully. Do you want to comment on that?
Leaders have to buy into this, and then not only they have to buy into it, but they have to demonstrate it, they have to reward it, and they have to recognize it. And that's what we were hearing from across the room.
Well, look, the reason we did this event was that Introhive was sharing its brand new inner circle product, which measures internal collaboration, measures internal relationships. I think that's going to be incredibly powerful. We're partners to Introhive, so we're excited about that. And of course, what Mutual Value does is help organizations understand this, analyze this stuff, and then change the behaviors of people so that collaboration and relationship building and trust is a consistent part of the way people work together. So if any of that's of interest, do get in touch. But I hope in any event, this discussion has been useful.